Hello and welcome to another episode of Hacker Rezel Does Some Unboxing. Today, as mentioned in the previous video, we have the special edition Zelda controller for the new Nintendo Switch. So it firstly comes in quite a nice stylized package that gives you a very clear shot of what the controller looks like. This is the wired USB version, which is significantly cheaper than the wireless version of this. This was £20 compared to £70 for the wireless version of the controller. So we obviously went for this model. It advertises on the front here that you can adjust the height on the thumb pads, which is a feature we're interested to have a look at, because though on other controllers you could buy third-party height adjusters, this is actually officially with the controller, so we'll give that a look. So let's get this bad boy open. Always remember to use the right tools. There are side discs as well. They have fooled me! Remember kids, to always cut away from yourself. Not like me. Okay, so as we open it, we have the main USB control components to it at the top there. Surprised to see that the USB cable for a wired controller isn't actually attached. That's an interesting feature. I imagine that will make transportation a bit easier. Just behind the main controller itself we get our extra thumb pads, and that's the controller there. It is very nice looking. I am very pleased with the design on that. That looks very good. It's Zelda Breath of the Wild is the theme on that, and it also comes with a small instructions manual. So let's take a quick look at the length of the cable. Here we have a really nice length 3-meter cable. That's 10 foot for my friends in America, and so that allows you to sit a good distance from your TV while playing any of your games, which is quite nice. Has a nice cable management loop there, so that when not in use and in transport you can nicely pack that down again. And yep, you've got a nice little slot right at the top of the controller there. I was a bit worried that it would be flush, which would mean easy damage to the cable, but that actually slots quite snugly in there and protects the end of the cable, so no real worries from there. It feels quite a lot like a Xbox controller actually. It's similar dimensions, similar design, and we'll test that against one later. One thing we did notice while having a look at the Switch itself was, though you have the USB ports on the docking station itself, there is no full-size USB port on the screen. So this controller can only be used while your Switch is in its dock. That does take us back to the Joy-Con controller that we reviewed on our last video in the Switch review, just here, because we found that there was a flaw that you can't charge this while playing it, and when using the Switch in its desktop mode, that created a issue with game time, and so you were limited to how long you had batteries charged for on these. This, however, you can have plugged into the main console itself, and you can play as long as you want. There's no batteries in it, and you just keep going. It's great. So comparing sizes against these two controllers, they're fairly similar in size, quite different in how they feel though. Because this has been designed as a traditional controller, it feels a lot nicer in the hand. The ergonomics is a lot better. Whereas, even though they've done a pretty good job with this, it still feels a little bit off. There's edges that you get in the way in your hands. This just feels nicer to use. Comparing that against other consoles controllers, first we have the GameCube controller that we compared the Joy-Con controller to in the first video. And when testing them both out against each other, I actually slightly prefer the GameCube and how it feels in the hand. This was a really well designed ergonomic controller, but it's just a bit old-fashioned in its button layout, so much better on the buttons and the shoulders, just doesn't quite feel as nice in the hand there. Comparing it against the PlayStation 4, We've got a PlayStation 4 wireless controller that comes with the console here. It's with the wireless controllers, you can feel the weight of the batteries in there. It's a lot lighter when you're using the wired controllers, which I prefer the heft you get from a battery, but it makes no real difference to gameplay. Size-wise, again, fairly similar in size. I slightly prefer the Switch controller in this particular case. I've always liked the layout of Xbox controllers, and they've gone very much down that route in this, and so that feels quite a lot nicer. The thumb pad layouts are a bit better there. And now we'll compare it against the Wasani Xbox One controller that you would have seen in my first unboxing. Just testing that in the hand there. The Wasani actually feels a bit better in the hand. Which for third-party controller is quite nicely done. They're following the Xbox One mode, so that's not particularly surprising, but you do get to see that layout is definitely inspired. It is very similar. They've gone very much down the route of the Xbox controllers there, but it's not a massive difference. They do feel very nice. This is just slightly ergonomically different, so that's a one-up for the ergonomics in the Wasani. And now we're going to compare it against an original Atari controller. It's bad. This is not good at all. But, you know, it's the start of gaming. They had to start somewhere. So let's have a look at the artificial thumb raisers and see how easy they are to use. What's interesting about these artificial thumb raisers is not only are they adjust the height, but you get two different styles. One has a concave thumb pad there, and this one has convex, so it's curving outwards instead of inwards, and I imagine some people might prefer that, that's why they've included it. Let's see how easy they are to replace. Please just pop up. Yep, so they just literally pop straight off there. That's the original two there. Let's test that out with the convex ones first. Though they pop off easily, they are a little on the fiddly side to put on. That, as you can imagine, is because the analog pads themselves are moving while you're putting them on, but it's not too bad. So, oh, that feels quite nice actually. I like that. I prefer those over the stock ones that came on it. Now let's try the concave sets. They feel a bit weird. But I guess that's why they provide you a free set, so that you can set it to your preference. And my preference is definitely the convex set of pads. I like that they've taken that into consideration. For a £20 controller, that's a really nice feature to include with it. And now let's test to see if they're universally changeable. So say if I was to take this one off and that one off and pop that one over there, yeah, they fit into the different slots. So that's actually slightly shorter than that one, so that's now a higher raised one with a slightly shorter one on that side, and that's not bad actually. That feels a bit better than the other way around. So you can experiment with the orientation. You can have a convex or a concave if you want to, and just get it set up how you prefer. An interesting thing about them as well is the original two thumb pads you get are exactly the same height, while the other two sets do come at slightly different heights, so you can play with it and set it up how you like. And that concludes our unboxing of the Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch controller. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and please tune in on Saturday for the next episode of Hacker Wrestle. Thank you very much and take care.